Hey everyone, welcome back to Solaris for another speed build. Today I am back with another neighborhood build. There's going to be a few different shop type of things in this neighborhood, including a cafe that's going to be around Tipper's house and a garden supply around Flora's house. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy the build. For this sort of cafe space in between Tipper and Flora's houses, I really had this vision of like a overgrown, lush kind of place where you could like sit and drink a cup of tea or eat a baked good, but you were like surrounded by vines and lattices and with like leaves growing out of them and everything. So that's sort of the vibe I'm trying to create here. Just fair warning, there's going to be quite a bit of trial and error in this build. You're going to see a lot of me putting things down and then just completely changing them. I never really know if that's something people like to see, like if you prefer to see the process of me trying things and then deciding to do something else, or if I should like cut that stuff out so the video will be shorter. But if you have a preference on that, just let me know. I'm interested to hear that. Also, I got stung by wasps off camera, but it's okay. Clay's giving me some medicine because he's the sweetest. Just like I've been doing pretty much throughout this island, I'm trying to sort of cultivate this sense of comfortable clutter, I would say, and just lots of random items spread throughout the area, just to give a sense of realism, I suppose. I decided to start planting some trees in front of these houses, in between the road and the houses, to sort of add to the feeling of things being a little bit overgrown and the houses being a little bit shrouded in trees. I just really like the vibe of that, so I'm going to continue doing that later on as I add another house to this neighborhood. And since you could probably tell I was getting a little bit stuck with the cafe at that moment, I went over and started working on the little garden center that Flora's going to have. And I think that this is probably my favorite part of this build, is the garden supply. This path, by the way, that I've cut between these cliffs in the back of the island leads back to the secret beach, just so you know. And there's not really going to be any structures back there. It's going to kind of just fade out into a really natural area that I'm not going to put a lot of items in. That's just going to be mostly trees and plants and stuff. All right, here I am on another day coming back and working more on the cafe since I got some stuff delivered. Really just changing the locations of small things because I'm very particular about where all my little items go. And I think that even since finishing this video, I've changed this area up just a tiny bit, just in terms of like, oh, I want the cake to be here instead of here, you know? I'm just always changing little details like that. But Solaris at this point is actually, am I going to say this? It's done. Like it's done at this point. I've, even though I haven't been uploading videos, I have been working on the island and I have been recording a lot of footage. And the island is done at this point, and I'm about to film my final tour of Solaris today, actually. You will see another 2 speed builds after this one and before the final tour. One of them is going to be pretty short, and the other one is going to be the longest speed build I've ever uploaded. It's going to be very extensive, sort of a just finishing up all this big swath. So yeah, you'll have that to look out for, and then we're going to be touring this island, and I'm really excited about not just finishing the island because I really like how it turns out in the end, but also I'm really excited to start a new one, especially since it's fall time now and I'm really feeling the motivation to create some fall vibes, have a fall island. And yeah, that will be soon if all goes according to plan. And I'm really looking forward to it, so I hope that y'all are too. Yeah, so I just moved Meringue's house here temporarily. She moves out pretty soon after I recorded this video. She moved out. I was never really planning on keeping her on my island, but someone else has moved into that spot now. I won't tell you who yet. It's not that exciting. I'll tell you. It's Hornsby. He was just, I think, a campsite villager. I haven't really been villager hunting because I just don't feel like it. So I've just accumulated some random villagers at this point. But yeah, Hornsby is going to live where Meringue's house is in this video. And what I'm sort of doing here in between Tipper and future Hornsby's house is I started out wanting to make it like a toy shop because I had collected some like toy-based items, you know, like the toy box and the tin robot and those kinds of things. But I also just had some other random items I wanted to use, and it ended up being more like a junk shop, I guess you would say, or like a I don't know. I'm picturing it as like sort of a community swap kind of place, like a free store where people like drop off stuff that they don't need anymore, and then you can come and pick stuff up if you want. And so I'm going to be putting some random dressers and lamps and stuff like that here. So I think it turns out pretty cool. It's just sort of a random jumble of stuff, including a bunch of toys. So that's what this is going to be. So that's pretty much the build. I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I will have 2 more speed builds coming towards you. I'll have 2 more speed builds coming to you very soon, and then a final tour of this island. So thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all are having a good day, and I will see you quite soon. Bye-bye.